Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to French Dip Empire. I am the Empress, and today we are doing part 9 of our series on the Norwegian Royal Family scandals. And boy, they have been busy this year. I found a photograph of the Crown Prince that I think sums up the year that the Norwegian Royal Family has been having. And here it is. This is Crown Prince Haakon. It is from, I think it was an Olympic game. I'm not sure which sport. But this was, I think, when he was at the Olympics and his wife had to leave. I believe it was in Paris, right? Because her son, not his son, his stepson, her son, Marius, had gotten into trouble with the law. So in the chat, movie of the week, I see you laughing at Haakon's face, which is very meme-worthy. But I don't know, perhaps in Norway he has become a meme. I don't know. It reminds me of that photograph of that dog. I don't have a link to that, but if you know the that sort of disappointed dog, I don't know if that meme has a name, but it kind of reminds me of Haakon's face here. So today, on part 9, we are focusing pretty much exclusively on Haakon's stepson, Marius Borg Hoiby, who, oh boy, he has been accused of several crimes, at least some of which he has admitted to, but not yet been convicted of in a court of law. In the chat, movie of the week says he looks thrilled. Yes, I'm not sure if he is reacting to the sporting event in front of him or to the antics of Marius. Maybe a little of both, probably more of the second. But if you are new here and not familiar with the Norwegian royal family, we go back to this family tree that we've been using for every episode, I think, to introduce our cast of characters. This is King Harald V, elderly and infirm, Queen Sonja, his wife, their elder daughter, Princess Martha Louise, who has been making her own headlines with her second marriage to this man, the self-proclaimed Shaman Durek Verrett. And our last stream went over their wedding and the controversies that have come around both the wedding ceremony and reception and other things having to do with the shaman and his shamanic career. This is the younger child, only son of the king and queen, Crown Prince Haakon, his wife Mette-Marit, her son Marius Borg Hoiby from a previous relationship, and then the two children of the Crown Prince and Princess, Princess Ingrid, who is the heir to her father and grandfather, and then the younger son, Prince Sverre Magnus, better known as Magnus. So now that we've caught up on everyone, we will give a little bit of a background, not too long because it's covered extensively in our previous episodes. Marius here, the 27-year-old son of the Crown Princess, stepson of the Crown Prince. He first got his very own scandal off to a start in August of this year when he was arrested for an incident at the apartment of his then girlfriend, now presumably ex-girlfriend, Rebecca. And as we proceed with this discussion, obviously there is going to be some discussion of incidents of inappropriate physicality. There will also be discussions of consumption of substances and some other things. There will be audio tapes that will have some of this conversation going on. The audio is in Norwegian, so if that's something you understand, then beware that there might be a little bit of, some spicy language. Not too much. It's actually edited, as far as I can tell. Anything that is an actual, like a swear word, has been edited out. I, however, have translated the Norwegian with the help of Google, and I will be reading my transcript, my translations, as I play the audio, but there is actually audio, and this was the big headline, and I will go over to that article here. And yes, it is a strong subject material, so hopefully if this is triggering to you, you have been warned. There is audio from the night in August when Marius, and this is, well, it says he allegedly did some of these things. He did release a statement through his defense attorney saying that he did indeed do inappropriate things at his ex-girlfriend's apartment in August. Now, but again, he's been charged but not convicted. It has not gone to court yet. He has subsequently also been charged with inappropriate physicality toward other exes, his two previous exes, and he has also been accused of what we are calling here are crimes. He's been charged with acting inappropriately physically in an intimate way with other women. The police recovered his phone, found recordings, and that's where those accusations come from. To be clear, Marius has denied all of the criminal allegations except for what has happened in August. And as I scroll down in this article, this is one photograph of what occurred in that apartment. You see a chandelier. If you have eyes on the screen, you can see a chandelier on the ground, broken, and a lot of broken glass on the floor. And this was supposedly the behavior. This is a new photograph, as new to me anyway. I've seen the chandelier photograph before, and we have shown that on French Dip Empire. This now is a new photograph purporting to come from, well, it looks like a bathroom mirror. However, it looks like there is a bed in the background. So I guess this is just a dressing table area, but with a shattered wall mirror. Lucky that is not on the ground. That would be even more dangerous than the broken glass from the chandelier. And then here is a smashed cell phone, supposedly also, the same apartment. That would be Rebecca, the ex-girlfriend's phone. And let's see, did they have the photograph of, and here you see the cover of the tabloid Sehor, and in addition to the chandelier photograph, you can see what we are going to refer to as a bladed implement that you might find in a kitchen, and that has been stuck into a wall of what we are told is Rebecca's bedroom. And that this occurred on the night in August when that prompted the police to arrest Marius and charge him with the attack on Rebecca. She supposedly was throttled, and I have also read that she received I think it was a concussion. Not exactly sure what is true, what isn't true. He did admit to the attack, and through his attorney, the statement that was released through Marius's attorney, and he blamed the attack on a combination of mental health issues he has had since childhood, and also a long-term substance issue, dependency, over-dependency, I guess we could say, on the white substance that we call here marching powder. This is going to be referred to in Norwegian on recordings that we are going to play, but I can't say that word because of YouTube, so you know what I'm talking about. You understand what happened here. Marius had some adult beverages and some not criminal substance, and it came together, and then this happened. So he's blaming it on mental health and addiction issues, and saying, excuse me, and you can see if you look on the screen, that's the quote, that this is what happened. He was inebriated more than one way. They had an argument, and he did bad things. Okay, but he denies the even more bad things, the art crimes. So, and there Marius, after he had already been arrested and accused, posing in a very flippant way next to a tabloid headline about his own problem in August. So, without further ado, I'm going to pull up the audio, grab my translation, and we will hear Marius in his own words. Let me get the... Okay, it's this one. Here is the audio. And let me get my headphones, and then we will listen to Marius. And again, the audio is in Norwegian, but you will be able to hear his tone of voice. It is an edited recording. You cannot hear, I think, at all, or for most part, the other person. And so right before I play that, I will just read a little bit of the article, which says, where did they get the recording? I think they just say that it was someone in the neighboring area. Oslo had been showing its best side for a few days, and the thermometer measured many 20 degrees. Okay, that doesn't make sense. That's a very poor translation. When most people had gone to bed after a pleasant Saturday evening in the capital. In Frogner, many people had chosen to get some fresh air and sleep with the windows open to enjoy the cool and quiet August night. The well-maintained apartment buildings from the late 19th century were evidence of a peaceful and distinguished residential area. But the idyllic atmosphere was suddenly broken by a loud and threatening voice on the summer night, uttering curse words and expressions rarely heard in the exclusive neighborhood. Both neighbors and passers-by heard the noise from one of the apartments. Seohor has been in contact with several witnesses and neighbors who have told how they experienced the situation. Seohor has also gained access to a new audio recording taken from outside where Marius Borg Hoiby, 27, makes several derogatory and threatening comments to his then-girlfriend inside the apartment. It is easy to recognize Marius' voice afterwards, as several of his threatening phone calls and his meeting with police detectives have been made public in recordings previously. And we are going to listen to some of those recordings after we listen to this new one. The new recording helps to substantiate the seriousness of the situation and is said to have been made just minutes before Marius planted the bladed implement in the bedroom wall and physically attacked his ex-girlfriend, an act he has subsequently admitted to and is being charged with. In the previously unknown recording, Crown Princess Mette-Marit's son launches a powerful verbal attack on his ex-girlfriend, saying that she has no business in the city anymore. Everything could be heard on the street. The outbursts are said to have sent chills down the spines of several listeners in the neighborhood. Addicted to marching powder, he characterizes his ex-girlfriend in a very negative and derogatory way. His voice also becomes more and more frightening, intense, and loud. Later in the morning, Marius leaves the apartment. When the police see what the apartment and his ex-girlfriend look like a few hours later, they quickly decide to take action and report him for assault. The it says boyfriend, that's a mistranslation. Ex-girlfriend, meaning Rebecca, is taken to the emergency room, and the police and their crime scene technicians work to secure traces and fingerprints in the apartment. The bladed implement is also pulled out of the wall and placed in an evidence bag. The idyllic summer night was definitely over, so was the good weather. In the early morning, the sky opened its floodgates. Okay, so they asked Marius's attorney for a comment on this recording we are about to play, and he said no comment. Okay, or I'm sorry, they did not receive a comment. So let's get to it now. Here is the recording that was made on that August night in Frogner, between Marius and Rebecca, who you should not be able to hear. It is an edited recording, and if you are looking at the screen, you could probably see where the edits occur. And Okay, my translation, here we go.
Se og Hør har fått tilgang til et nytt, sjokkerende lydopptak. Her hører vi hva som skjedde I leiligheten til ekskjæresten til Marius Borg Hoiby.
Okay, so far, what they are saying is, Seohor has gained access to a new, shocking audio recording. Here's what happened in the apartment of the ex-girlfriend of Marius Borg Hoiby right before he, well, put the bladed implement in the wall and put his hands around her throat.
Rett før han plantet en kniv I veggen og tok kvelertak på han.
Okay, so that is, now this is Marius speaking, and he says, the first thing he said was, so she is now banned from all nightclubs in the whole city. And the next line, so everything, you have lost everything, I will ruin your life. Okay, now he is saying, you have nothing, I have done nothing. Okay, so there was a bit of unintelligible something, and then he follows that up by saying, you have, let me make sure I get this. You have nothing to do in this city anymore. Nothing. Okay, now, after the edit there, the break, he says, I have, it's bubbling inside me. I want you to be unalive. And he says that a second time. And then he says, and the line on the screen right now says, I don't want to see you again. Okay, now, after another edit, he says, let's see, I don't want to see you again. Can you please go in? I don't want to see your face anymore. Please go away. Okay, and then the last thing he said was repeating the word please again, or the words to that mean please again. So please go away, please. And now there's another edit, and he is going to say, stop following me. Now you're going away. Oh, stop following me. And you can hear he's really starting to get worked up as he's saying, stop following me. And then he moves on to say, are we done? Are we done? And that's where he's really starting to ramp up the intensity. And he says, I can promise you one thing. There is no one in the whole world who is as done as we are. So it sounds like a breakup fight. Okay, and that last thing he said, can you please stop following me? Okay, and then that's not Marius. Let me make that video go away. Okay, so the last thing he said was, no, I want nothing more to do with you. Please go away. So that supposedly is the secret audio recording that was made while he was in Rebecca's apartment in Frogner on August. That preceded the big blowout, which you can see the photographs that we were looking at. That apparently was what happened that night. Okay, in the chat, Movie of the Week says, well, he sounds like an absolutely charming individual, but he doesn't sound overtly violent, just snitty. Well, that's true. I mean, well, okay, he did say that he wanted to see her no longer alive. That's threatening, obviously, and what happened after the fact was clearly inappropriate physical activity, as we're calling it, physical, aggression. Yes, it's not exactly a smoking gun type of a recording, however. You can't hear, for example, any screaming of, her. I mean, obviously he's raising his voice, but you can't hear things being broken. I kind of was thinking when it said, oh, this secret recording, that there would be more obvious, something a bit more obvious. As I said, I guess a smoking gun, but it doesn't, again, look good when if one is screaming at another human being that they don't want to see them in the realm of the living any longer, especially considering what happened after the fact. Does not look good. And I do have to wonder, are there any more recordings? Is this a tease? If someone was recording a mere argument that then proceeded into actual physical destruction of the apartment and an attack on the woman, was there not additional audio? Would there possibly even be video if this is an apartment in an urban setting? Often people can see into other people's windows. You can see from other apartments. You can see from rooftops. You can sometimes see from the ground if you have the right angle. So it does make me wonder, do the tabloids have more audio, any video, and will more be leaked? And I do wonder if the reason why this has come out is because earlier in the week, there was a little bit of an update, and I was going to, I have the article for later. I was going to cover it later, but I'll just mention that prior to this audio recording being released by the tabloids, or published by the tabloids, it was publicized that Crown Princess Mette-Marit, Marius's mother, was not going to be questioned in relation to the Marius case. This after she had been implicated in, she was warned that he was going to be arrested. She went and told him that he was going to be arrested. And there is the implication that she made evidence or possible evidence disappear, tampered with his phone, took out the SIM card, and possibly cleaned up any other evidence of criminal or illegal activity on her her son's behalf, not stepson, her actual son, or biological son, such as possibly the presence of that very powder that we were discussing earlier. So that is the audio that was released on the 19th. So that was 4 days ago as I am streaming this. It is the 23rd of December, 2024, just 2 days before Christmas. And if you're enjoying this, hey, give us a little Christmas gift in the form of a like, share, subscribe, click those buttons, and spread some Christmas cheer, even if you are enjoying this at a time when it is not Christmas. Well, it could be Christmas all year round if you're generous like that. So, someone who is not generous, I guess all year round, Marius, although he is the gift that keeps on giving in a very, very negative way. Now, this article referred to other recordings that had been released, and on our prior streams, we had read the articles, but not listen to the audio. Well, now we can do that. And again, unpleasant subject matter. This is a different time that Marius decided to make a claim of wanting someone unalived. And that is, okay, here we go. Oh, let me scroll down here. This is from 16th of September, and this is Marius making some threats at a man, not an ex-girlfriend this time around. And okay, I'll read a little bit of the article. I don't know that we need to read the whole thing. Okay. Dagbladet has confirmed that statements made by Marius Borg Hoiby towards an unnamed man in a telephone conversation are the reason why he is now also charged with unaliving threats, in addition to the other charges, which include inappropriate aggression, vandalism, and violation of a restraining order, because Marius has also been charged now with violating more than one restraining order, which had been obtained against him by more than one of his exes. I can confirm that there are unaliving threats, police lawyer Andreas Krzyzewski told Dagbladet on Saturday. Conflict, the following violent incident and vandalism at Frogner in Oslo on the night of August 4, Marius Borg Hoiby spoke on the phone with the offended woman. Audio recordings of several telephone conversations reveal that there is a conflict between Hoiby and the woman. I will never ever talk to you normally again, the 27-year-old says. During the conversations, a third person is the topic, a man known to both the offended woman and Hoiby. The 27-year-old says that the person has not responded to anyone because he is terrified. Why should he be terrified? Asks the offended woman. Because I'm going to unalive him. We're going to hear this. Dagbladet is aware that the audio recordings have been part of the police investigation into Hoiby and has been informed that the person spoken about in the audio recording is insulted in the threat charge against him. I don't think he's, I don't know if insulted is the best translation of that word, but anyway, let's take a listen. This is the audio. Again, it will be in Norwegian, and I have a translation. There is a little bit of reporting and then the audio. Okay.
Sent på kvelden fredag 13. september ble kronprinsessens sønn, Marius Borg Hoiby, pågrepet på en hyttetur I Innlandet.
All right, so what they are saying is, late in the evening of Friday, September 13, the Crown Princess's son, Marius Borg Hoiby, on a cabin trip in the inland.
Politiet mener han har brutt besøksforbudet mot kvinnen, som har status som fornærmet etter en voldshendelse på Frogner 4.
Okay, the police believe he has violated the restraining order against the woman who has the status of an offended person. That would be Rebecca, the girlfriend from the Frogner incident, after a inappropriate physical incident in Frogner on August 4th.
August. I alt har 4 personer status som fornærmet.
In total, 4 people have the status of being insulted. I guess that's, offended against. Okay.
3 kvinner som alle har hatt en relasjon til 27-åringen, og ytterligere en person der Hoiby.
Okay, 3 women, all of whom have had a relationship with the 27-year-old, and 1 more person. So this is ex-girlfriend Juliana, ex-girlfriend Nora. This presumably is ex-girlfriend Rebecca. And then the mystery man, I guess, is the man that Marius up here is making the threats against in the telephone conversation, in the recording here, with Rebecca, presumably Rebecca.
Siktet for å ha rettet trusler mot vedkommende.
Okay, where Hoiby is charged with having made threats against the person in question.
Etter det Dagbladet kjenner til, skal disse truslene ha kommet I en telefonsamtale.
According to what Dagbladet knows, these threats came in a telephone conversation.
Hoiby hadde med den fornærmede kvinnen på Frogner dagen etter hendelsen.
Oh, here we go. Okay, I'll roll it back a little bit so we can hear it from the beginning when he starts speaking. So the last thing the reporter said was, Hoiby took the offended woman to Frogner the day after the incident. So let me scroll it back a little tiny bit. Okay, and then this is going to repeat the reporter again. Sorry, and then it will be Marius. And I hope that the audio is loud enough. It sounds a little low in my ear, but hopefully, it being in Norwegian, if you don't understand every word, I'm assuming if you speak Norwegian, you can understand it. And if you don't, maybe it doesn't matter so much, but hopefully you can hear the tone.
Og det tydelig at 27-åringen sint. I denne samtalen snakker de også.
Okay, well, that was, I guess, somewhat understandable, even if you don't speak Norwegian. That was Marius. Here, where's the? That should be him basically saying STFU. It was audible. Thank you. That was him basically saying STFU. I think you know what that stands for. Okay, so let's see. Let me find the translation. Okay, let's continue.
Også om en tredje person. Det skal være disse truslene som fikk politiet til å opprette en anmeldelse.
Fordi han livredd. Livredd! Fordi jeg skal drepe han.
Hoiby.
Okay, now that was him saying, here, hold on, because he's terrified because I'm going to unalive him.
Ble løslatt under 1 døgn etter at han ble pågrepet i Innlandet. Forsvarer Øyvind Brattlin har gått hardt ut mot pågripelsen. Han sier at Hoiby bestrider å ha brutt besøksforbudet.
Okay, this is the reporter. Let me scroll down. I think there's another audio. No, you go away. Another audio piece which has more of him speaking. Let me scroll down and find that. Where is this? There is a... There should be a longer audio piece. Well, let me let this finish out.
Og erkjenner ikke straffskyld. Dagbladet har informert Brattlin om at opptakene fra denne samtalen publiseres.
Oh, no, we don't want that. Okay, one sec. Nope, that is absolutely not what we want. Maybe it is over here. Okay, I'm not sure why this is not showing up. There is another, and it should be on this page. I guess I made, let me see. Yeah, there is more audio where he says, and you can see the quote. I don't know if this is just, maybe if I reload the page, it will load up, where he is saying more things, which are quoted in the article, but I'm not really sure why the audio is not loading up. That's a shame. Okay. Let me take a pause. Let me take a pause real quick, see if I can find this, and then be back. Just 1 minute, real quick. Okay, I am back, and I can't find the audio itself, but I can read the transcript. It appears that the audio, for whatever reason, is just not loading up. But what the audio said was this, and this was the conversation between Marius and his girlfriend, now ex-girlfriend, presumably Rebecca, speaking about this third-party individual. So this is the dialogue. He says to the woman, "If you're not here within an hour, I'll pour gasoline on all those clothes, which is already out here, and then I'll light them. If you're so..." And then it's a swear word, like saying effing or darn, but harder, more harsh than darn. If you're so bleeping scared to come here, then you can effing, except he actually says the word, take me with you. I couldn't care less. You are coming now. Do you get it? Or do you understand? So apparently he's threatening to set the woman's clothing on fire if she doesn't come to see him. And let's see. Okay, then they continue. There's a break in the recording. And he continues to say, they're having a disagreement. They're discussing an incident which is not specified. And he says, "After what I did to you last night, a little pat on the back," or something to the effect of pat yourself on the back. And then he also says, beat yourself up a bit with the flat of your hand, or like with the flat part of your hand. It seems as though he is taunting the other woman, or the woman, not the other woman, the woman he's speaking to, presumably Rebecca, his ex. But the other part of the audio is edited out, so you can't hear the other side of the conversation. You have no idea what her responses are. And then there's another edited part, and then they just play the part that when he was saying STFU before, where he's screaming that, they play that. And then it mentions that he made the comments about unaliving the man, the unidentified man, that has caused Marius now to be charged with making unaliving threats, being charged criminally with making unaliving threats about this man. And as we heard before, he says that the man is terrified, and then he repeats, yelling, terrified, because I, meaning Marius, am going to unalive him. So we've had one direct unaliving threat that Marius has been charged with criminally, and then we have this sort of, implied unaliving threat in the previous audio recording, the one that was made on the night of the Frogner incident in August. Okay, so that is that. Now we move on to previous audio recording, and I think this is also from September, and this article has more than one audio recording. These are recordings that were made of conversations between Marius and the police. And so we took a look at this article on a previous stream, but did not play the audio. Excuse me, the subtitles on the audio tracks are in Norwegian, and I have the English translation. So now I can play them, and we can listen and understand what they are if you understand English, which you must because you're listening to me in English. So the article says, Marius Borg Hoiby claims he has an agreement with the press. They're not allowed to write about it. Marius tells the police that he has a secret agreement about what the press can write about him and not. So let me get my headphones back on and we will go ahead and listen to the first of these tapes. Okay, let me get my translation ready, and here we go.
Men vi må bare si at du bør I hvert fall vurdere å stoppe med det, for at det her noe som du kan bli tatt for.
Okay, so the police, obviously that is a disguised voice. And so we have the member of the police on the left of the screen, if you're looking at it. And then there's Marius on the right. The policeman speaks first, and he says, "But we just have to say that you should at least consider stopping it, because this is something that you can be caught for." And they are speaking about illegal substance that we're calling marching powder, because we can't call it by name on YouTube without courting disaster. Marius responds to this by saying, "I've been caught for that too." And as we covered on a previous stream, Marius had indeed been caught with an illegal powder on his person some years back. I don't remember the exact date, but I believe it was when he was a teenager. He was at a festival, a music festival, and he got caught, unsurprisingly, with, a party substance. And this is the substance that he has been in trouble with. He admitted he has a problem, and he is supposedly in a rehabilitation facility in London or the London area as we speak, if reports are to be believed. But anyway, he admits, yes, I've been caught with it before. And so the policeman responds, and then it becomes the front page. And continuing.
De er ikke lov til å skrive om det. Det vi har der en avtale, så det kan du tenke på.
Okay, so after that, Marius says, "Yes, obviously you know that." The police person says, "Yes, I know that." And Marius responds, "But they are not allowed to write about it. We have an agreement there, so there is nothing to think about." So Marius is telling the police, even if I get caught, the press won't write about it, so no, I don't have to worry about the headlines. I don't have to worry about the front page. Movie of the Week in the chat says, "Marius looks like he is genetically part marching powder," which he kind of is. Yes, well, Marius's origin story was that his mother was a party girl, and his father is a man. His biological father, Marius Borg, is a man with at least one felony conviction related to just that substance. It's a very substancy origin that the poor young, well, I guess we shouldn't feel too sorry for him. I don't know. He's certainly gotten himself into enough trouble that it's, I guess I can't call him poor Marius, but earlier, yes, poor Marius was conceived in under not the best circumstances, and now he's gotten himself into a load of trouble. Well, again, as they say, consider the source, and in this case, consider two sources. But okay, moving on with the audio where we leave off. Marius has said he's informing the police, "Don't worry about me having illegal substance on me, because the press isn't going to write about it, even if I get caught by you." The police now will respond.
Kommer ikke, det er jeg ikke bekymret for. Men det er andre steder som det kan bli påstående i regel, ikke sant? Ja.
Okay, so the police say, no, but, and Marius says, "So it won't come. I'm not worried about that. That is not a problem." And the police respond saying, 1 second. The police say, "No, but there are other places that can be made other than VG, right?" And they're talking about Verdensgang. And obviously, in addition to, I suppose, obviously there's more than a Verdensgang as a media outlet. We are listening to this recording on Se a Hor, but even if the Norwegian press can't write about Marius, foreign press definitely can, and the blowback would obviously, come and, whatever would happen would be aware back in Norway anyway, even if they had to write about it, delicately. As I noticed, they will not in Norway name Rebecca, his ex-girlfriend, but in the foreign press, in the British press, in the German press, in the Spanish press, her name has been published, her photographs have been published, and she is a public person to the degree that she's some kind of model, influencer, social media, presence type person, if you catch my drift. I think you do. Okay, continuing with the audio.
Og det gjør du. Kunne jeg virkelig ikke brydd meg mindre om.
Og jeg skal være for andre som bryr seg om meg.
Okay, so this is going to go ahead and let me pause. Right there. Okay, I think that's our next audio anyway. So the end of that was they warn him that there are other places than this Norwegian press outlet where any trouble that Marius gets into could be publicized. Marius responds, yes, you're the guy, and so does, and then says, every single day, and I couldn't have cared less. And the police respond, no, but there are other people who care about it. Okay, now, this is auto-played into our next audio recording. And again, these are edited, even though the dialogue between the police and Marius is present, unlike the previous audio recordings where you can only hear Marius and whoever else is in that, like presumably Rebecca, the ex-girlfriend, is in the audio, but it's cut out. You don't know. Here, the dialogue is kept intact, but there are still edits and breaks. So now we're on to another audio tape, presumably from the same conversation, or at least it is presented as though it is the same conversation between Marius and the same representative of the police. Excuse me. So the first person to speak is the policeman, and he is about to say, I understand that in Oslo there are a lot of different civilian police, but the thing is...
Veldig mye forskjellige sider i politiet, men på en måte det greia du trenger ikke å tenke på hva vi jobber med og sånn. Du sa det selv, at du sliter med en ting. Ja.
Okay, you don't have to think about what we work with and stuff like that. You said it yourself that you struggle with one thing, which is marching powder. And Marius responds, well,
Men det jo altså, jeg ser ikke helt hvorfor det noe dere blander dere inn i. Det dealer jeg med på min egen måte å håndtere det selv.
Ja.
And Marius responds, well, but I don't really see why it's something you're getting involved in. I deal with that in my own way and handle it myself. And the police respond, yes.
På en måte. Jeg setter jo pris på at det altså omtanken, absolutt, men jeg bare ser ikke helt.
And then Marius says, I appreciate the consideration, absolutely, but I just don't quite see. And the policeman responds, no, there are several reasons why we are involved now. Marius says, yes, and the policeman says, that's because, 1, marching powder is illegal regardless of who your family is.
Fair enough.
And Marius responds, fair enough, which is in English. It's the only thing that I did not have to translate. Fair enough. Which I don't know why it's kind of amusing to me that he's sitting there being spoken to by the police about his, substance issue. And they're like, well, it is illegal. Well, fair enough. Well, yes, it is. Okay. Continuing. And the police continue. 2, we've seen you with actors who are interesting to us. And Marius says, yes. And the police officer says, as we know, selling substances. And not just a little, but also it says quite a lot of style. That was the translation. That sounds odd. But anyway, I suppose it's just, they're not selling a little, they're selling a lot.
Men også i ganske stor stil.
Det vet ikke jeg noe om.
And Marius responds, I don't know anything about that. And the police respond, it's a big problem if you get involved in it.
Det et stort problem hvis du blir involvert.
Ja, det husker jeg jo åpenbart ikke.
And Marius responds, and there's a little bit of overtalk with the police, and they don't translate that. But Marius says, I obviously don't want to be that. I never will be. I'm not crazy either.
Det blir heller, altså jeg er jo ikke helt blåst heller.
Men mye har skjedd.
And the police respond, no, but a lot has happened in a drunken state, so to speak.
Mye har skjedd i russtoffet og sånn.
Ja, altså. Men.
And Marius says, yes, well, but we won't take it that far.
Så langt drar vi den ikke. Penger har ikke problem med, ikke sant, så.
And the police respond, no. And Marius says, I don't have problems with money. I don't have problems with... And the police officer says, no, I understand. And then, 1 second. Okay, there's another little break in the audio, and the conversation continues. The police officer picks up and says, it's not just us who are out there watching. The police obtain information in many different ways. And that makes me wonder, okay, who is informing on Marius? Who is the sneaky, rat in his social circle, or who is the, person who works at the clubs and restaurants that he's hanging out in that is informing? That's what it sounds like. It sounds like they're talking about an informant, because who else would be ratting out Marius and his, illegal and, unsavory behaviors to the police? Who else would be telling them? If not their own observations, because obviously they're saying, we're out and about and we're seeing you and we're seeing your friends, right? So people are informing. I wonder how or whom.
No.
Okay, so Marius, they say the police obtain information in many different ways, and Marius agrees with that, yes. And the police say, and then you can also, what can I say?
Vi har over tid hatt inntrykk av at du har slitt med her, og vi har over tid også hatt inntrykk av at det kanskje har vært.
Okay, we've had the impression for some time that you've struggled with this, and over time we have had the impression that there may have been something more than just use then. So of course, saying without saying, you're not just using, you may also be selling, distributing, something along those lines. And if you've been following our series, we have covered on more than one previous stream the Marius Nettverk, as one of the publications had put it, his connections to people who have not just accusations but convictions for activities in the realm of what we're talking about here. Substance, not just use, but quantities and selling and trafficking. I would recommend going back and looking at those previous streams, especially the Nettverk discussion. It is interesting and not quite as focused on by the tabloid coverage as the inappropriate physical aggression of various sorts against his ex-girlfriends, which is definitely worthy of coverage and serious. This is where the criminal charges are coming from. But it seems as though Marius has greater, perhaps, criminal charges that could go his way, but it is not really being focused on. Okay, so the police are giving him their warning, and they just said might be more than just use, but other activities.
Hva mener du med det?
At det kan ha vært.
And Marius says, what do you mean by that?
Det må ha vært litt større mengder enn det som bare var litt eget bruk.
Ja, nei.
And the police respond that there may have been slightly larger quantities involved than what is just for use. And Marius responds.
Kan jeg med hånda på hjertet si at
There's, again, some crosstalk between the police and Marius, but Marius says, oh no, I can honestly say that, meaning, he's not involved in it. It's okay to ask, I guess, but I never have. And that's him being oh so polite. Okay.
Se og hør har fått tilgang til.
One moment. All right, now the next audio is down in the body of this article. One moment, let me pull that up. Here we go. Okay. So this is more talk of Marius and the police. And it says part 4, and a new audio clip from the shocking conversation between Marius Borg Hoiby and 2 police detectives from organized crime. Marius' marching powder addiction is a topic.
Det fordi at vi selv, altså vi
Okay, so the police start off saying, it is because we ourselves, and Marius says yes, so we, they introduce themselves. He says, this is, and they edit out the name, and he says, and I am, and they edit out the name, and Marius says yes, and the police officer says, we work at OrgCrim, so Organized Crime Division, I guess, Oslo, and we work with organized crime.
Vi jobber på OrgCrim Oslo. Og jobber med organisert kriminalitet.
And Marius says yes, and they go on to say, in connection with that, we've been out working, and then we've seen you.
I forbindelse med det, så har vi vært ute og jobbet, og så har vi sett deg.
Jeg har jo sett dere også, så det jo sivilpoliti kjenner jeg igjen.
And Marius says, yeah, I've seen you too, so that's it. I recognize the civilian police well. And the police say, yes, yes, yes. And Marius goes on to say, because I've had them following me all these years, because he's been the, step-grandson of the King of Norway for the majority of his life. So, of course, he would recognize the police.
De følger etter meg i alle år.
Så jeg skjønner. I Oslo så det veldig mye forskjellig sivilpoliti. Men på en måte, det greia du trenger ikke å tenke på hva vi jobber med.
Okay, and the police go on to say, okay. Oh, and this is, I think, a bit of a repetition of some of what they've already said. He says, the police officer says, I understand that in Oslo there's a lot of difference between civilian police, but the thing is, you don't have to think about what we're working on and stuff like that. And...
Og sånn, det der.
Jeg skjønner hva du sier, det ikke det. Men jeg bare ser ikke helt...
Okay, there was a little break, and then Marius says, because I understand what you're saying, it's not that, but I just don't quite see...
Ja, jeg skjønner ikke helt hvorfor jeg sitter i en bil med orgkrim, liksom.
Yeah, I don't really understand why I'm sitting in a car with organized crime, sort of. So that is that clip. Now, the next clip, one moment as I scroll down to find the other audio recording. It was labeled part 2. Here it goes. Okay. So we've heard some of this already. I'm skipping ahead on it to get to the part that we have not yet heard. And that is around here. 1 second. Okay. Let's let this go for a moment. Right. Okay. So he's just said, yeah, I don't really understand why I'm sitting in a car with organized crime, sort of. And the police pick up and they say, for being who you are. There is no other reason. There's no one else we would have bothered to do this with. And Marius says, no. Okay, the police officer then says, and it's not because we think you're the coolest guy in the world, because we don't know you. Oh, come on. Haven't you seen the pictures of him with his awesome tats and his the money stuffed into the waistband of his pants and the bottles of champagne and the how can I refer to those? The items that look like the tool that looks like it flings projectiles at a high velocity. We know he's cool, right? I just think it's funny, again, that they, not funny what Marius has been accused of, but definitely funny, these moments of unintentional amusement that come up. It's not because we think you're the coolest guy. I want him to respond, fair enough, but he doesn't. Oh, no, he actually does. He says that's fair. That's what it says right here. He doesn't say fair enough, but he does say that's fair. Okay, we don't think you're the coolest guy in the world because we don't know you. No, and that's fair, Marius responds.
Men vi respekterer, og vi ønsker, og vi
And the police say, but we respect and we wish and we hope. And Marius says,
håper at du kan prøve å ta tak i det her nå. Og hvis du
that you can try to address this here now.
føler at du skal få hjelp nå, så det dritbra.
Ja, det jo...
If you feel like you should get help now, that's great. And Marius responds, yes, it is. Absolutely.
Absolutt.
Hvis du har folk rundt deg som du stoler på, og som hjelper deg, og som et
And the police respond, if you have people around you who you trust and who help you, which is an anchor for you in a situation that can be demanding with substance abuse,
anker for deg
then that's great.
I en situasjon som kan være krevende med oss, så det kjempebra.
Ja, det har jeg.
And Marius says, yes, I have. Although we've kind of found out, no, he kind of didn't. He said that he was, had been getting help, I guess, off and on for this ongoing problem of his, but clearly not getting help to the point that he had managed to overcome his problems, which I guess led to the August incident, but then he was supposed to get help, and it looked like he had not after several months, and then there was finally a trip to London where it was reported that perhaps he was actually entering a rehabilitation facility in England, but then after one quick weekend and some photographs of the Crown Princely couple and Marius shopping, doing some Christmas shopping in London, they all came back to to Norway, to the country, and that was when I think Marius got in trouble for that's when he got caught having dyed his hair and grown a brown mustache, and was caught contacting one of the women, which may have been Rebecca, breaking a restraining order. I don't know if that was the second time he had broken a restraining order, because he's broken more than one restraining order, more than once at this point. Anyway, so they assure us that as of now, Marius is in rehab in either London or England, and there's an article that we're going to read in just a few minutes or some minutes that supports that claim. Okay, so going back up to this other audio recording, which is labeled Part 5. Okay, this is continuing the recording of Marius speaking to the Orgkrim police of Oslo. So this says, family knows. And here's Marius with his stepfather, Crown Prince Haakon, and his mother, Crown Princess Mette-Marit. Earlier this week, it became known that the problems surrounding Marius Borg Hoiby were well known in the police, as the scent agents, don't know what that means, said that they were sent from the top. Oh, I suppose that's the police officers that he is speaking to, the anonymized two that are introduced on the one audio tape that we just listened to. So, okay, let's go.
De vennene jeg har vært stilt opp for meg og aldri blandet meg inn noe tull. Og
okay, this one, Marius starts speaking, and he says, the friends I have stood up for me and never involved me in any nonsense. They have their jobs, and I do mine.
De har deres jobb, og jeg driver med mitt. Vi er gode venner, og de har
Then the police officer says, mm-hmm, and Marius continues.
vært der for meg når jeg har trengt det. Og ikke
And Marius says, we are good friends, and they have been there for me when I have needed it. And the officer says, yes. Marius continues, and nothing.
noe, uten at det har vært noe så farlig da, som jeg ikke kunne ha fortalt dere på en måte da.
Unless there was something dangerous that I couldn't have told you about in some way then. Which makes you wonder what? What could be dangerous that he couldn't tell the police? I don't know. And the police respond, no. And Marius responds, so yes.
Så, ja. Jeg kommer ikke til å slutte å være venn med mine venner, bare fordi
He says, I'm not going to stop being friends with my friends just because, and the police cut in and say, we're not saying you should do it.
Du skal gjøre det.
dere klarer det, og min vennekrets.
And Marius responds, no, just so you are aware of it. And he goes on to say, my circle of friends has been the same for the last 10 years, and that's just the way it is.
Så har vært den samme de siste 10 årene. Så, ja, sånn er det bare. Og mine foreldre vet det, og altså alle, det er vennene mine. Det er ingen som...
He says, my parents know it, and so do my friends. I can't do anything about it. And it sounds like he's talking about his problem with marching powder. And the police respond, yes, as I said, we are not looking to psychoanalyze.
Som sagt, vi ikke ute etter å psykoanalysere. Vi ikke ute etter at du skal på en måte sløyfe vennene dine og sånn.
På ingen måte.
We're not looking for you to ditch your friends or anything like that. And Marius responds.
Det har jeg aldri gjort heller.
Nei, men vi her for at vi har inntrykk av at du har et problem.
Pause. Okay, Marius responds, no way, I would never have done that either. And the police respond, no, but we are here because we have the impression that you have a problem, and we're here to lend a hand if you need help.
Og vi her for å rekke til noen hvis du trenger hjelp.
Ja.
Og det her ting som har gått
Marius responds, yes.
til topps I politiet I Oslo.
The police respond, these are things that have gone all the way to the top in the police in Oslo. And Marius says, mm-hmm.
Som sikkert også har klart kanskje med folk som står nærmere enn deg.
And the police respond, which has probably also been clarified with people who are closer to me, that we have these concerns and we need to clarify that.
Vi har disse bekymringene. Det må vi få avklart.
Ja.
And Marius,
Jenter. Jeg vet.
you're really pushing this weird cucumber video on me. I have no idea. Rude looper. I don't know what that is. Okay. So enough with the cucumber people. Yeah. And then Marius just responds, yeah. So that is those are the audio recordings, the secret audio recordings that have been made. One's made with the police. One assumes that they would have been released by the police, I guess. Is that legal? I do not know. But anyway, someone who had access to these gave them to Seahor, and now we're hearing Marius talking about his nice cucumber. Thank you, Movie of the Week in the chat. And yes, if you appreciated that cucumber, go ahead and give us a like, share, and subscribe. This is French Dip Empire. I am the Empress, and this is just a brief update stream on what's been going on with Marius Borg Hoiby, the stepson of the Norwegian Crown Prince, Haakon, who has seen better days in his life, where he did not have to deal with scandals on all sides. Well, both sides. One side, the side of his wife and stepson, and on the other side, his sister and her new husband. So what have they been up to? Just to briefly catch up on Haakon and his wife, Mette-Marit. Well, let's see. Let me pull this up. Okay, so Mette-Marit is going to, this is an article dated the 23rd, that is today. And here is Mette-Marit with Marius. Not great photos. Now Mette-Marit is finally opening up. It has been a demanding harvest for us. The Crown Prince and Princess look back on a demanding year. Okay, it has been a demanding year and a demanding autumn for us, says Mette-Marit in the trailer on NRK, which is an advance advertisement for The Year with the Royal Family, which will be broadcast on Christmas Day. Well, I think you could probably just run our streams, and that would catch you up on all the best of what happened this year with the Norwegian Royal Family. But anyway, continuing the article, yes, it's not to be taken too seriously in any way. And here is Haakon and Mette-Marit. Okay, that was at the Palace Chapel last week for some kind of Christmas service celebration. And boy, he looks, well, the word felted comes to mind. Haakon has not been having the best year ever. All the fuss surrounding the eldest son, Marius Borg Hoiby, 27, has left its mark on the Crown Prince family and the royal family, and not least the Norwegian people's view of the monarchy. Constant opinion polls show declining support for the royal family. On Christmas Day, the Crown Princess is expected to share her innermost thoughts about the scandal surrounding her son for the first time when NRK meets the royals in its annual Year with the Royal Family. On Friday evening, Crown Prince Haakon, 51, was at the opera with a large part of the royal family, but some were missing. Queen Sonja, 87, announced her cancellation, and two others who were conspicuous by their absence were Crown Princess Mette-Marit, 51, and her son Marius Borg Hoiby, 27. Borg Hoiby is known to be receiving treatment for his years of problems with substance abuse and mental health abroad, which his defense attorney Øyvind Brattelian has confirmed to several media outlets. Already in November, Haakon and Mette-Marit were in London with Borg Hoiby, probably to find a suitable place for admission. But they all returned home, and the following week, Marius Borg Hoiby was arrested for the third time. After just over a week in prison, Borg Hoiby was released again, and without the police having placed any restrictions on his travel. Although both his driver's license and his tools that hurl projectiles at a high rate of speed license were revoked, he was allowed to keep his passport. And here we have a photograph, the Happy Group. I like how it says, check out Haakon's glasses. This was the opera. There's Haakon and his glasses. His son, Prince Sverre Magnus in the background. That's Magnus's girlfriend, Amelie. That should be King Harald with his crutches, although he's facing away from the camera. That is Princess Ingrid. There in the background, it's Shaman Durek. Well, even with the allegations against the shaman, well, he was allowed at the opera. That's somewhat surprising. And if you're wondering about those allegations, you should go back and check out part 8, where we were talking about the inappropriate touching of his shamanic clients that has been outed and by at least one of his ex-clients, and also by one of the shaman's sisters, and also by one of his former friends and colleagues, Eric from MTV's Real World and The Grind. I'm not making that up, but it sounds like I did. I promise I did not. Okay, so continuing with the article. It is unknown whether he, meaning Marius, still has the gold-edged diplomatic passport which Sehor revealed he was equipped with. And thus Borg Hoiby's plan to go to rehab abroad could finally be implemented. And we do have some evidence that perhaps he is in rehab when we look at the next story as to what Crown Prince Haakon has been up to. Okay, but continuing with this article, but after only a short time in rehab, Sehor was able to reveal that Borg Hoiby had violated the restraining order against at least one of the girls he is accused of R-criming. Since then, there has been silence from Marius Borg Hoiby. Yes, and it is not mentioned in this article, but he left rehab, reportedly, broke the restraining order, contacted the woman who the charge of R-crime was brought against him based off of a video that was found on his cell phone. The allegations are that his alleged R-crimes took place at a time when his alleged victims would have been unconscious, asleep, or somehow unable to consent, which kind of suggests that they may have been unaware that these alleged crimes even took place. That, I think, was supposedly the case in this one woman who the restraining order was violated by Marius. According to previous reporting, which we've covered on a previous stream, he supposedly contacted the woman with an encrypted phone, and then after that, she went to the police and said, "I am not a victim of our crime, and I want the restraining order dropped." I do not know if the restraining order has been dropped, and I do not know if the R-crime charge is still in effect, if it has been dropped or what, but that's what supposedly happened. Now, why did that happen? Did he make any kind of threat? Did he make any kind of promise, like a bribe? Or we don't know. We do not know. And who knows if we will even find out. And in the chat, a movie of the week said, Durek is an epic creep. Well, you are entitled to your opinion, movie of the week. There are many who share your opinion, and with good reason if the allegations are to be believed. So, continuing with a little bit of this article. Okay, since then there has been silence from Marius Borg Hoiby. The royal family has resumed their duties and has appeared in several events, although they still surround themselves with a wall of silence about the Marius charges. They have both given speeches and posed for photographs on several occasions. And then this was the video of Marius joking with his friends about how his last relationship ended. And I've played this before, but why not? Let's see it again. Here you go.
Se og Hør har fått tilgang til materiale.
I will make that full screen and replay it because it goes very quickly. And who doesn't want to enjoy this 27-year-old wearing a you-know-what beater t-shirt and his navel showing very slovenly. And here we go. And joking about allegations which he admitted to of DV.
Se og Hør har fått tilgang til materiale fra en hemmelig Snapchat-gruppe med noen av Oslos mest hardbarka kriminelle og Marius Borg Hoiby. I denne gruppa blir det spøkt med flere av anklagene Hoiby har fått mot seg og handlinger han tidligere har gjort. Se og Hør kan nå avsløre at han også spøker med sine tidligere forhold.
Oh gosh, he has a mom tattoo. Can we enjoy this? Can we enjoy the fact that he has a mom, the heart with the banner that says mom? Dear old mom. The mom who will clean up your alleged crime scene, I suppose, is a mom worth getting a tat for to honor. Okay. Is this like a spider web with a smiley face coming out of it? Okay, that's interesting. All right. I wanted to see if this had...
Der han under etterforskning for vold og mishandling i nære relasjoner. I videoen av Hoiby kan man se at han får spørsmålet om hvordan han gjorde slutt med den forrige kjæresten sin. Da svarer Hoiby på denne måten.
Here, one moment. I wanted to see if this had... Oh, we're going to see Marius sitting there again. Okay, I wanted to see if that had the text chats between his friend group. I was pretty sure it might be in a different part of this article. Oh, here it is. This is what I wanted to show. Secret chat, a network, different network, although possibly some overlap. Oh, movie of the week in the chat says the classic. It's like a normal Norman Rockwell, a normal Rockwell painting. I think that's a typo, but I'm enjoying it. That is funny. A Norman Rockwell painting? You mean the slap? Or him posing there like that with the belly exposed slightly? I hear you, movie of the week. No, I did want to play this. It's the embedded video. It's not video. It's just this.
Se og hør har fått til.
Let me make this full screen. Okay, so I'm going to mute this because the audio is not important, and then I can talk over it. They found a group chat. Someone shared a group chat that Marius is in with his friends, and they found that he was making, here it is, inappropriate jokes. Let me see if I can get the controls. I don't think I can get these to easily disappear. But I did translate it. So if you can see on screen, they have a cell phone here and the group chat between Marius and his friends. His other friends are anonymized, but you can see Marius's name here and his texts. And what it says, translating the Norwegian, the first commenter here says, "Thought we needed to bring some life to this group. My dear now." I think that just sort of is like, dear friends, or we need to liven this chat up now, friends. And there's a like a finger pointing emoji, then there is a laughing emoji, and then a anonymized person writes blank, meaning a redacted name, called and wants, and it says either his or her, and it's difficult to tell, bladed weapon back. So the joke is probably Rebecca wants her bladed weapon back. Or it could be Marius, but because the name is redacted, I assume it is Rebecca, because they were referring to the Frogner incident. Then Marius enters the chat and he writes, making a bad joke, "Be careful, I'm not a spousal mishandler." You could probably know what that word means. This term in Norwegian is the same as the term for that white sleeveless necklace t-shirt that he was wearing, which is not an appropriate term to use any longer, but was very popular for a long time. A WB'er, if you will. So he says, "Be careful, I'm not a WB'er. Never married after all." And then an anonymized friend responds, but apparently the first person who started the chat, ha 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 ha, laughing, because indeed, how can you be a WB'er if you have never taken a wife? Movie of the week, you said the mom tattoo is like a Norman Rockwell painting. Yes, I see what you're saying. Okay, so back to the article now that we've covered that. Okay, so what did the royal family do this weekend? This weekend, Se og Hør was able to reveal that they were gathered at the Oslo Opera House, which we saw the photograph of the family minus a few members, Sonja, Mette-Marit, and Marius, where the extended family enjoyed the ballet The Nutcracker, a true Christmas classic, indeed, Se og Hør. And then one might think that the Christmas peace could subside both at Skaugum and at the palace. You want the peace to subside? No, I would think that you would want the peace to continue. As mentioned, Crown Princess Mette-Marit was not at the opera. Perhaps she was exhausted by her chronic illness, pulmonary fibrosis. Or perhaps she was already in London. On Sunday, Haakon drove from Skaugum in Asker to Gardermoen, where he boarded a Norwegian flight to London. This is what several passengers tell Se og Hør, and that is actually our next or final article, I believe, of this shorter stream, just to catch up on the latest goings-on with the Norwegian royal family. I really wanted to play that Marius audio from the Frogner incident and then these other audio recordings, because it is pretty interesting. Was it a warning or was it a threat of their own that the police were making to Marius? A little hard to tell. And I do wonder, who was it that made the recording of Marius at Rebecca's apartment in Frogner on that August night? Is there more audio to be revealed? Is there any video? But yes, in the meantime, Crown Prince Haakon attracts attention to London in a hurry. Last night, and I think this is from the 22nd, so meaning the 21st, he was with his family at the opera in Oslo. Yes, wearing those glasses. But this morning he had to go abroad in a hurry, and there they have him in the red circle there on the tarmac with his bodyguards. So what was Haakon doing? Oh, and there he is with his glasses. The family crisis is not giving him Christmas peace. Last night, Crown Prince Haakon, 51, was at the opera with a large part of the royal family, but some were missing. Queen Sonja, 87, announced her cancellation, and 2 others who were conspicuous by their absence were Crown Princess Mette-Marit, 51, and her son Marius Borg Hoiby, 27. We know that already. Marius is supposed to be in rehab, and yes, we know they went in November, and the restraining order, yes, a lot of recapping. Oh, there you go again. There was the group text. Okay. But what of Haakon? Okay, so yes, they went to the Nutcracker. We know that already. A lot of repetition. Okay, where's Haakon? Yes, he went to London. Our photos show him on his way out of the plane at the airport in England this morning, meaning 2 days ago, I guess. 1 day ago, to a waiting black SUV that picked him up on the runway. Mette-Marit was nowhere to be seen. In London, it is probably bonus son Marius Borg Hoiby, that's what the Norwegian press calls stepson, bonus son, who is at the top of the schedule. Maybe he'll pick up Marius for Christmas. In that case, it would be very practical to be able to travel together, but with the royal escort as protection. This way Marius avoids having to mix with ordinary travelers, both at the airport in London and not least at the airport upon his return to Norway. We have asked the palace's head of communications, Guri Varpe, whether the Crown Prince's pre-Christmas visit to London is of a private or official nature. The official calendar is updated on kongehuset.no. Varpe replies, go check the website. I'm not talking to you. I have enough to deal with. The London trip is not mentioned in that calendar. So what was Haakon doing in London? Was he picking up Marius, bringing him back? Will we see Marius on Christmas Day with the Norwegian Royal Family? Will the Shaman went to the opera, will he be at the church? Will he be with them? It looks like being at the opera was a vote of confidence. But as we discussed in the last stream, it is royal watchers and whatnot are looking to the king to see if he brings the Shaman along with him to the church for Christmas as a show of support, despite the rather inappropriate, spicy allegations against the Shaman, which we covered on our last stream. And now that Haakon has been to London, will he be bringing back Marius, and will Marius make an appearance at the church for Christmas? How one person who's not going to have to make an appearance, not at the church, but at the police, is Mette-Marit. And here is the article I referred to earlier. This is from December 16, and this was announced. This was reported not long before, I think it was 2 days before, Seohor released the audio that was surreptitiously recorded of Marius and the Frogner incident. And I do wonder if they were holding on to that, and it was a reaction to this. If you will not allow yourself to be questioned, Mette-Marit, in your possible involvement, or I guess it's actual involvement, because Marius told the police, I thought, that he could not have interfered with his own phones at his home at Skaugum because he was in the shower at the time, and that it was Mette-Marit, his mother, who had been at his home before they came to arrest him. And that led to charges that she had interfered with the investigation, possibly tampered with evidence. But then this came out. The police will not question Crown Princess Mette-Marit. The police have also not asked the Crown Princess if she wants to explain herself about her son. Juliana Snekkestad's lawyer confirmed to Aftenposten. And Juliana is Marius's ex. This is 3 exes ago. Well, Rebecca is his most recent ex. Then there was Nora, and then Juliana. And all 3 have made allegations. Well, I guess Rebecca didn't have to make the allegations. They were sort of made for her by the Frogner incident coming to light. And then Nora and Juliana came out and said that they too had experienced, inappropriate physicality from Marius. And they have the restraining orders against him. So, okay, the short version. Can I get this to? Okay, this is archived, so I can't get that to open. But just under 2 months ago, Aftenposten wrote that defense attorney Petter J. Grodem asked the police to question Crown Princess Mette-Marit. It is now clear that the prosecution will not question the Crown Princess. I am surprised by the decision. It is very unusual for the police to refuse such a request, says Grodem. He states that he will not appeal the decision. Grodem says that the police have not asked the Crown Princess if she wants to explain herself about her son. Oslo police confirmed that the request to question the Crown Princess has been denied. It is the prosecution's view, based on the investigation so far, that the need is not present at this time. Beyond that, we have no comments, says press officer Uni Grondal. Aftenposten has asked the palace several questions in connection with the police decision. We have no comment on the decision, says press contact Sara Svanemar. When Grodem, who again is the legal counsel for Juliana Snekkestad, sent the petition at the end of October, he justified it as follows. The evidence situation in the case is such that we believe it is entirely natural that we get her explanation now. I actually think it would be unnatural if she did not answer questions from the police. A statement from the Crown Princess would, in my opinion, shed new light on the case against her son. Snekkestad notified the Crown Prince and Princess. And this is a picture of Juliana on the right. Here she is brunette. Some of the photographs show her as a blonde. And then there is the extremely blonde Mette-Marit on the left. Juliana Snekkestad, 29, and Marius Borg Hoiby, 27, were lovers for almost 5 years. The relationship ended in February 2022. After this, he became a girlfriend. No, he became a boyfriend with Nora Haakon. They were together for a period from 2022 to 2023. Hoiby is now charged with abuse in intimate relationships against both ex-girlfriends. He denies criminal liability for both charges. Aftenposten has previously revealed that Snekkestad notified the Crown Prince and Princess of the abuse in January 2023. So a good year and a half plus before the August incident at Frogner this year with Rebecca. Aftenposten has documentation that confirms, among other things, that Snekkestad sent a text message to Crown Princess Mette-Marit in January 2023. The message was about, among other things, Hoiby's problems with aggression and inappropriate physicality against Snekkestad. Aftenposten also has documentation that she provided information about practical and financial matters. Not exactly sure what that means. Lawyer Grodem has confirmed this information. The message in the announcement was also addressed to Crown Prince Haakon. According to Aftenposten's sources, Snekkestad also attempted to enter into dialogue with the Crown Prince couple on several occasions before January 2023. She wanted to tell them what the relationship between her and Hoiby had been like, and that she had been subjected to DV. The 29-year-old also hoped that this communication could help Marius Borg Hoiby in the long term. And as you can see here, a link to another article in which Nora, the next girlfriend after Juliana, Nora Haakon, to Aftenposten, notified the Crown Prince couple about Hoiby in a meeting last summer. So you can kind of see the they mention the charge of R crime, DV, other criminal offenses, that would be the unaliving threat, the restraining order violations, and whatnot. Hoiby has accused Snekkestad of DV. Hoiby, in turn, has accused Juliana Snekkestad of DV. He has explained this in police questioning. Hoiby completely turns the mirror upside down, and my client will explain herself to the police if she is called in to explain her accusations, his accusations against her, accusations she completely distances herself from, said Grodum. When the accusations became known, there are currently no reviews against Snekkestad. I assume that means no charges, or possibly also no investigation. And if you have eyes on screen, that is the little red house that Marius has been living in at the Skaugum estate, where the Crown Prince and princely couple live in the main house, where Marius has been known to have parties with his friends that are so well known. They are referred to as the Skaugum Festen, the Skaugum parties. So Mette-Marit does not have to answer questions, and Marius may be in rehab, and Crown Prince Haakon is looking like that, and who can blame him? And since we mentioned her, I feel, on almost every stream, and I had to, just for my own edification, I had to look up Guri Varpe. And this is the woman who has to handle all of these press inquiries regarding Marius, regarding the Shaman and Marta Louise and Mette-Marit and all of this. This is Guri Varpe. And I notice, and you may too, in the Google images of Guri Varpe, once upon a time, this was a woman who smiled. This was a woman who looked happy. This was a woman with light in her eyes. And now she's not smiling. The light seems to have dimmed. She's much more serious now. She's a bit blonder, I noticed, but that might be a bit of a Mette-Marit effect. Maybe between Mette-Marit and Marius, she's gotten a little blonder and a little less joyous about her job. There she is, once upon a time, smiling, happy, and now, well, I assume if she continues to have to field inquiries about Marius and the Shaman and all their inappropriate, allegedly criminal, borderline criminal, and some definitely criminal behaviors, she will eventually look like this. I'm sure there have been days when she probably has adopted that posture. So, not to make light of what's actually going on with the criminal charges and the other allegations, but, you know, we have to find a little light, a little joy somewhere, or else you end up looking like Crown Prince Haakon right about now. So, I guess I had a little bit of some fun things, but I think we will save them. It's almost, not quite a 2-hour stream, but it being just 2 days before Christmas, as I am streaming right now, I think it's a good time to just take a little break and go have some fun. So I'm going to wrap up the stream for now, and I am hoping to come back just after Christmas with a little bit of, maybe we'll take a little look, have a sort of cozy, easygoing stream and see what the various European royal families did for Christmas. We'll see who showed up at the chapel and at the church in Norway, if the wayward members of the family have been welcomed back to the fold. And we'll see what other people. I already noticed the King of Britain has been in the hospital, I've heard, and Princess Beatrice has had to cancel her vacation, her flight, because of her health and her pregnancy. And another member of the British royal family who is either beloved or very much not so, depending on who you are, fell down and went boom and broke both her wrists. I suppose we could talk about that in a few days, and then we will take a look at how the other royal families spent their holidays. And again, before the end of the year, I am planning on coming out with my at least 2 more streams that is about different topics. That is, unless, of course, the Norwegians go ape again and start popping off, and Marius goes wild and the Shaman goes wild, or maybe Mette-Marit goes wild, or hey, maybe Haakon finally decides he's had it and he goes hog wild. But at least 2 other new topics. I am preparing a stream about this year's Le Bal des Débutantes, where the headlines were dominated by the behavior of one of Shaman Durek's possibly not so good friends, since she did not show up at his wedding. Goop, Gwyneth Paltrow, who has endorsed the Shaman on her website, I think still, I don't know if she has removed his bio page after the allegations against him, but Goop's daughter, Apple, certainly made quite the stir at Le Bal, and upstaging other debutantes with much more illustrious pedigrees, if you are into that sort of thing, blue bloods and whatnot. And then another stream, which I don't want to announce yet, but it involves a little bit of a scandal that went on, a minor blip that, come to think of it, it also connects to Goop herself, Gwyneth Paltrow. She's just connecting to all of the streams, all of the topics that I want to cover lately. So that I'm saving for maybe New Year's Eve. Maybe that will be a pre-New Year's, maybe the 30th or the 31st. Scheduling is a bit difficult, but I am definitely coming through with those streams. I've got my research down and ready to go. I just need to find the time to do the stream. So before the end of the year, we'll have that coming up. And if you've been listening, I thank you and invite you to like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. Any feedback is appreciated. And I am the Empress. This has been Friendship Empire. This is the 9th part of our ongoing series on the current scandals of the Norwegian royal family. I thank you for being here, and I hope you have a good day. And if you are listening to this at the end of December 2023, have a good holiday season and a great year. And you know what? Have a great year anytime you're listening to this. It's always a good time to have a good year. And I will see you on the next stream. Bye.